This is the plaintiff, Darlene Thompson. She says the defendant, her landlord, left a fallen tree on her house for 18 days, causing rainwater to get into her bedroom, ruining everything. If that weren't bad enough, he won't return her security, claiming she caused the damages. Caused the damages? Ha! She's suing for $5,000, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Giuliano Danino. He says the whole house reeked of urine because the plaintiff lived like a pig. As for the tree, there was a huge storm. The governor declared a state of emergency. Schools were closed for a week, and he did the best he could to deal with it in a timely manner. He has every right to keep her security for the damages she caused, and that's exactly what he did. He's accused of dragging his feet.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Darlene Thompson, you are suing Giuliano Danino for $5,000 that you want paid to you, $3,600 of it is security deposit, and the rest of it rent reimbursement. Okay, tell me what happened here.
Well, on March 13th, we had a huge windstorm.
And you were renting from him a what? A house?
A house.
How many bedrooms?
3 bedrooms.
Okay. And on March 13th, you had
a huge windstorm.
Storm of the century.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it knocked a tree on my house.
How tall was the tree?
Probably 75 feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a big, huge pine tree, and it came out by the roots.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is I called him and told him that a tree fell on the house. And he came right over, looked at it. He did one of these and said, oh, it doesn't look that bad.
Okay.
And the next morning when I woke up.
Wait, what did he do on the spot? Did he do anything?
Nothing.
According to you, you did something on the spot, right?
No, not on the spot.
Okay. So the next morning.
The next morning I woke up and above my bed, the ceiling was leaking.
Okay.
So I called him back and I said, well, it's worse than what you thought because it's leaking into my bedroom.
Right.
So he came over again and went upstairs, and we found the spot in the attic of where the branch had come through.
Okay.
And
could you actually see the branch from
the yeah. Really? I have pictures of that.
Oh, Lord, let me see that. All right, so did you come back the next day?
Came back the next day, and actually that night when I went to see the damage, it was pretty dark, it was pretty late at night. It was still raining, so I told Darlene that I'll be back the next day to repair the hole. It was a 2-inch a branch that punctured the roof of the
So could you actually see the branch inside the attic?
Yes, you can actually see it.
So what did you do to repair the hole and when?
The next day I went to Home Depot. I purchased a can of the spray foam.
Okay.
Which is a hardening foam. And like I said,
that's a foam that you actually spray into the hole and then it hardens
cracks,
and then
crevices.
It's a temporary fix.
Correct. And that's all I was looking for, just to stop the water damage.
Okay.
So that's what I did the next day.
But according to you, that didn't work very well.
Right. And those pictures are in there too of how he sprayed the foam, around the branch.
Okay, but this is a bigger, the branch may be 2 inches, but the hole it made is bigger than the 2 inches.
Yes.
All right, and what did you say? You're right, that's right. It's a temporary fix. Obviously, this is not how you fix something for sure. But all right, so that's to try to stop, that's like a Band-Aid to try to stop the bleeding, the hemorrhaging. So that doesn't do the trick, does it?
No.
And you start noticing leaking how soon thereafter?
Oh, the next rainstorm that we had.
Which was how soon thereafter?
March 29th was when I noticed that it was dripping really bad into my bedroom.
Okay, so do you
those
call
pictures
him on
are in
March
there
29th?
too. Well, that's when I got really mad at him. And I told him that it's really bad. It's dripping water onto my carpet. And I had to move my bed.
And nothing had happened between the March 13th storm and March 29th to actually do a repair. How come?
Well, the reason why, as you're aware, it was a severe windstorm, thunderstorm there.
Okay.
I had someone scheduled to come in on the 22nd. They never showed up. Everyone is busy working for the city, the state, whatever.
Right.
Power lines were down. It was just, the area was totally devastated. Power was out throughout the whole area, except Darlene's house. She had power through the whole storm and through this whole time.
Really?
So
None of your neighbors had power and only you had power?
Yeah, I had
Parties
power.
at Darlene's?
Yeah.
Everybody was at your house?
Yeah, with the
So
tree.
on the 23rd, the contractor said, well, you know what? I have a couple of guys who I can get out there, but they can't get out there until the 29th.
Okay.
And
in fairness, it was very hard to get out there. But in fairness to her, that doesn't change the fact that she's, living in that condition. All right.
Correct.
Now.
So on the 29th, we did have another rainstorm. So they couldn't come out that day. On the 30th, I received a call from the building inspector that we have issues with one of your tenants. I met him out there at the house. We looked at, and in the meantime, the tree guys were out there removing the tree on the 30th. We looked
So
at-
everybody meets at the same time?
Everybody meets at the
Party
same
was at
time.
Darlene's house.
Correct.
The building inspector, you was
And the health inspector.
And the
She
health
also
inspector,
called the
were you there?
Health inspector.
I was there when he came. The tree guys were not there on the 30th that he's saying. That's when.
Wait, not the 30th. He says that they
He said on the 30th. They
tree
came
guys
on the
were there.
31st.
Hold on one second. Okay. The tree guys and the inspectors are all there on the same day?
They're all there at the same day.
And that day is what?
The day that the building department and the health department came was on the 30th, not the tree guy. And here's the letter from the health department.
Let me see it. Okay. So bottom line is you do end up getting it repaired.
Correct.
Okay. And the leak is between the 29th and the 31st, according to you.
Well, no, there was the wet patch was there from
Because it's already
right away.
wet.
Right away there was that.
Right.
But it started dripping really bad after that next rainstorm. It started
What
dripping.
day are we talking about? Is it 29th to 31, or is it
the-
something different than what I just
No,
said?
the 29th.
So 29 to
Yep.
31, you have an actual leak.
Right, where it's dripping
and then
on the floor.
by the 31st, there's no more leak. There's
Right.
the unpleasantness of looking at
Right,
that patch.
right.
Okay. And the reason that I'm asking this is because part of your law, what ends up happening is that you move out, and you move out when?
The end of May.
Which was the end of your lease?
Yes.
Okay. And you expected that you'd get your security deposit back, and your
Right.
security deposit was rather hefty. It was $3,600, and you did not get your full $3,600.
Right.
You ended up keeping part of her security deposit, and we're going to talk about that now because of carpeting.
Correct.
Okay. Dog pee on the carpeting. All right. Now we're going to talk about that. But what you want is your $3,600 back minus a small amount for carpeting, and you want rent abatement for the storm period.
Right. And the other thing I wanted to give you was this letter was a letter I sent with my check. And we had discussed on the phone, he had told me that he would give me back some rent reimbursement for the inconvenience of having
Well,
to
you're
sleep
entitled
on
to
my
it by
couch.
law. It's in your lease. I looked at your lease, so really, you're going to get some rent reimbursement. The issue for me is how much. Now, when she moves out and you do a walkthrough, what do you discover about the carpeting?
Darlene moved out on May 31st. She called me that night and said, I have the keys. What do you want me to do with them? I said, I'll come by either tomorrow or Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what day the 31st was, to pick up the keys.
Now, she didn't do what lots of tenants do, which is illegal and they're not supposed to do it. She didn't try to live out her security deposit last month. She paid you a check for the last
She paid, correct.
Okay, go on.
She paid every month on time, never had an issue.
Okay.
Great tenant as far
Okay.
as I was concerned. So I believe it was that Tuesday I drove up, and the first thing I noticed is that all the windows are wide open. So I was a little skeptical as to, why did Darlene leave all the windows open? Going through the back door, and as soon as I stepped into the dining area, the smell of dog urine and ammonia just totally overwhelmed me.
Okay. How many dogs you got?
I have 2 now.
How many did you have then, which is what I care
Well,
about?
what happened was in my lease, it said I could have a dog.
How many dogs do you
I
have?
have 2.
Okay.
I have 2.
And so,
the end of
was
my-
there dog pee on your
Well, I had a puppy. I mean, that's the one thing I wanted to clarify. He's trying to say that my dogs peed all over the whole entire house, which my dogs were confined to the living room area.
Okay.
My puppy was in its crate, and when you take him out, chances are he probably did have accidents. But
Okay.
I had one of those little green Bissell machines, and I used that all the time.
Okay. Now, you have a realtor who's here, and your purpose today here is to tell me about the pungent odor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe it didn't work so well, but go ahead, talk to me.
I met Giuliano, I guess it was that Saturday after she moved out. Before that, I guess the carpets were clean.
Were you his realtor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How old are you?
31.
So young.
31.
Really? Honestly, you look like 18. All right, so go ahead.
Well, before the
getting
carpets were clean, I was there. You had to hold your nose when you walked in. It was, the whole house totally smelled.
Okay.
And then he had them cleaned. Went back again for a second time, like no change.
The cleaning didn't do any good.
Yeah.
All right.
No one can move in the condition of the carpets.
Okay. Did you
It's
tell
bad.
him that?
Yes. I mean, it was apparent. It was
apparent.
Yeah,
So-
when you walked in, it was strong, very pungent.
Very pungent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One time a litigant actually kept a piece of the rug and the under padding for me to smell in court. I don't suppose you did. You did
Yeah, we
not
did.
do that. Did you do? Oh, okay.
I have it.
Right here.
You do?
Yep.
Oh, I have to open my big mouth.
You can kind of smell something without opening it.
You can smell something without opening it? That's not going to be good. All right, can you tell me how old was the carpeting that was in there?
The carpet was brand new. Darlene was
What's
the first
brand new
tenant.
mean?
First tenant. Darlene was the first
Was
tenant.
the carpeting brand new?
Well, I don't know. He claimed it was, but
Did it
he
look
had to
brand
have, you know what? That was hard to tell because he had
Do
to
you
have
a
it
receipt
carpet.
for the original carpeting?
He had to have it carpet
No, I didn't
cleaned
bring it with me.
before I
How
moved
do you not
in.
have, just a second, how do you not have the receipt when that's part of the basis
I
of
had
when
the
you pay your
receipt
tax?
for the replacement carpeting.
Of course you do, because that just happened the other day. But how do you not keep a receipt from a year ago?
I probably have it somewhere.
But
It actually,
I wasn't worth looking for it for.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
To live in the.
Okay. The answer to this is don't allow pets. I'm sorry, I don't
learned
mean to
my
be
lesson.
mean or anything, but that's the truth.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey, 11 here. So if a landlord says, yeah, you can have animals in the apartment, you can have a dog, and the dog starts peeing all over the place, does the landlord have recourse?
Yes, he does. There's both an agreement between the tenant and the landlord, but the tenant should agree on all the terms of the landlord.
But dogs pee, and the question is, if the landlord says you can have a dog in there, is the dog allowed to pee with impunity?
No, the renter has to clean it up.
The renter has to clean it up, and if the renter doesn't, can you kick the renter out?
Yes, you can.
Can you withhold the security deposit?
I think so. I think so, definitely.
I think you're all right. Going inside the courtroom.
Show me the receipt for the carpeting. Why were the windows open? When he came upon it, why were the windows open to the place?
Because I just finished cleaning and I was using, because I
But I
wanted
thought
to.
that he didn't come the same day that you were still there. I thought he came later.
Yeah, but I left it, when I locked it up, I left the windows open when I left.
Why would you do that unless you are very aware of the stench of the urine-soaked carpets that maybe you're used to and you don't feel, but you know the next guy's gonna. I mean, you're airing out the place, obviously. Come on. All right. Now, what my question is, you know that she had an issue regarding rent abatement because
Correct.
of the other thing.
Yes.
So why wasn't there an effort to talk to her and to try to come up to some settlement where
There
neither
was.
one of you would end up in court again?
There was, Your Honor. I asked her, well, how much do you think is a fair number for not having use of that one room? And I couldn't get an answer. And I said, well, I think $200 is a fair number.
$200 was supposed to span how many days?
Well, I figured about a 3-week period.
But how do you figure if it's $1,800 a month? Then
6 rooms, $300 per room.
Don't you like
3
add a little
weeks.
because it's your bedroom and that's sort of disruptive?
Okay,
Put your hand down. I'm working here. Come on. Huh?
$250. But I did offer her $200. I mean, that was my first offer.
Right.
Obviously, you never present your highest offer.
Okay.
So
Some people might offer what they think is fair because they feel bad, but go ahead. You were sort of angry that she'd called the building inspector and didn't.
And the health
time.
inspector. I mean,
Because
yeah.
you felt that you were doing the best you could in a situation where all the tree guys are going to the. Now, I don't know if you were doing the best you could because I live in Miami, Florida, where when we have a hurricane or a semblance of a hurricane, the tree guys are the belle of the ball, boy. You got and like they're like. How do I say this without being offensive? Basically, they go to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
They're like streetwalkers, okay? They will go to the highest bidder. So you can get a tree guy, you just got to shell up more money. And that's how it is.
Right.
So, it's sort of a fine line on who gets the tree guy first is whoever is offering the tree guy the most money for dancing with them. Correct. That's how it works. And so it's a little complicated. But I know it is hard to get a tree guy out there in the midst of a storm like this. I understand that. That doesn't, I don't care how hard you're trying. Mm-hmm. It'll make me angry if you're not trying.
No, I tried very
but that's
hard.
irrelevant to whether or not she gets a rent abatement. You do understand
Correct.
that, right? Your
Correct.
intent is irrelevant.
Correct.
It's the effect that makes a decision on how much you get of rent abatement. Okay. On the issue of the rug, I find in favor of him on how much he ended up deducting, except for that I don't understand your math. I'm confused. Because,
I also paid her interest on her security.
oh, that's the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
So you sent her a check for the $3,600 plus the $50-something of interest for the year, minus the carpeting. Correct. So a net of $1,110, which you did not cash because you felt you didn't want to cash it because that's not the amount you wanted. Just so you know, you could have cashed it. There's nothing in there about full and final payment or anything else.
Because I thought that meant I was agreeing
right.
to it.
No, it's always safer if you don't need the money and you can afford to step back. That's fine. But you don't need to worry unless it says that. But in any event, I believe that he is right in deducting the $2,544 for the carpeting because that stench, you can't rent it to the next guy. The next guy's not going to come in and rent it with your dog smell. I also believe that you knew that there was an issue, because otherwise the windows wouldn't have been left open to air out. I think it's obvious you knew that there was an issue. But I agree with you that you were entitled to some rent abatement for the amount of time and the trouble that portion, not being able to use your own bedroom, cost you. I disagree with you that your rent abatement amounts to $1,800, which is your rent for an entire month. I think that you're asking too much, you're offering too little, and this is the time in people's court where we do a little rough justice. And I figure out, well, this is not a science, it's an art. I give it a little more because it's your bedroom, because that's disruptive. So I'm going to order a rent abatement of $500. In addition to this check, which you can go ahead and cash, I'm ordering that he pay you an additional $500, and that's how we're resolving this case. Good luck, folks.
Well, here he is as the defendant on the losing end of this case. Step on in here. She got what she got. How do you feel about it?
I think it was pretty good. She was entitled to a piece of, the rent reabatement, and I offered her $200. Judge agreed at $500 was a fair number, so I'm happy.
All right. You said she was a good tenant, right?
No problem.
How come you couldn't square this away before you got here?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm. How things in the money pit, the old house there that seems to be?
It's working well.
Yeah? You got it all repaired?
It's repaired, rented, and no issues.
All right, Mr. Landlord, right down this way.
Thank you.
All right, come on over here and tell me, you satisfied with what you came out with here?
Yeah, it was more than what he gave me, so.
Was he a good landlord? He described you as a good tenant.
I never saw him. I mean, he did
That's a good landlord.
Yeah, well.
Right?
Except for when you needed things fixed.
Okay, and now what's your living arrangement?
I'm very happy with where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very comfortable house, and,
with the dog,
no problems.
Dogs?
Yeah.
It allows dogs?
Yeah. Yep.
How's it smell in the new place?
Fine.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, quick tip. If you rent to somebody and you allow them to have pets, you should put a clause in the contract that allows you to come in and inspect the premises periodically so you can make sure that the animal isn't doing unreasonable damage. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.